world was young, the mountains green, no stain yet on the moon was seen.
Then with a crash came a great ringing shout. Ra, boom, ra.
3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the dark lord on his dark throne in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie.
Hey everyone, it's Talking About Tolkien. I'm Nate, and I'm joined today by Ben Bear Grylls. I fucked that one up. In Man vs. Nature. This week we're going to climb Carothras, apparently is how you pronounce that.
Is it?
That is what the one wiki to rule them all says.
There's no TH in it.
Yeah. The TH as in, and it's a weird symbol. It's like a P with like a horn on the...
Is that the thorn symbol?
Sure. Yeah.
There's two THs in Old Norse.
Oh.
There's the and like th. Like
Carothras is
Carothras.
Yeah, sure. I can't look, man. I'm super white. I can't roll shit without stretching first. So
I can't roll those. I can't roll. I think the Norse were also pretty white. I don't know.
I'm a different kind of white. Okay, I'm not as white as them, but I'm too white to be Hispanic.
Well,
I'm in that zone where I can't do either.
You're echoing Midwestern. You're echoing a point that Sam makes, and that is after Gimli says the names of all the mountains, he goes, "A fair jaw cracker, dwarf language must be." There's a lot of hachs and ras and
apparently they don't teach their alphabet to outsiders.
They don't teach their language to outsiders.
That's weird. Not even Gandalf?
Gandalf probably knows it.
It sounds like he may know the Dwarven language, but not the Dwarven script.
Possible, yeah.
It's crazy. And that's why your language and culture is going to disappear, Gimli.
Well, it's probably going to
disappear. You didn't teach me.
Because they disappear. I don't think he cares, if you remember it.
Well, you should. Age of Man.
It's chapter 3 of book 2 of Fellowship of the Ring. The ring goes south. The ring's going on a little walk.
Yeah. But first we have to conclude last chapter because it spills into this chapter.
Well, there's 2 different. So in the movie, the Council of Elrond is 1 meeting.
Yeah.
In the book, they're actually there for 2 months. And they have 2 meetings.
And during one of those meetings, they also break for lunch because they realize they went on for an absurd length of time because they had to tell you the entire history of the world.
To be fair, I think we're all glad he did. I think it was worth being late to lunch.
I don't know, man. I feel like you could have served the lunch and I could have listened while I chowed down, you know?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Especially because in the movie, they have it outside. You're not even going to get stuff on his nice table.
Oh, is this inside?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
So, starts with Pippin and Merry being annoyed that Sam is getting to go, and they're not going to get to go, because they really want to go. I mean, they don't want to go, but, like, Frodo's going, so they want to back him up.
I have never had a friend like this.
Wow, I'm right here, Ben.
Oh, okay. Would you follow me if we had to walk across Europe?
In the rear with the gear, Ben. I'll
Really?
patch you up once you get back.
Oh, that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Thought you meant you'd be right behind me.
I would be. I would be like really far behind you.
Yeah, so that's my thing. I think this is probably some of Tolkien's World War I experience here, maybe World War II experience of seeing buddies who are willing to go through anything with each other. And even Pippin, they do have that. There's another little line transplant here that happens in the movie where I think in the movie Pippin says you're going to need people of intelligence on this mission quest thing, and they're like, guess that rules you out, Pip. But in this one, Pippin's like, you're going to need people of intelligence on this mission, and Gandalf's like, shut the fuck up, Pippin.
Yeah, he does shut him down. Like, you're an idiot, so I guess I'll go. Elrond sent out scouts with rangers to scout the land, gather information, rather than leaving right away. Like you said, they hang out for about 2 months, which is unfortunate because it means they will be leaving during the winter.
To we North Americans, that might seem suicidal, but I guess to an Englishman, that's something you can do.
It's like a brisk 45 or something,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know my pain. Getting buried in snow, 32 or 30 degrees below. I mean, yeah, no.
Yeah, you don't get much snow, do you?
Don't get much snow, but it does get unbearably cold and then unbearably hot. But we did get like 14 inches this year.
Nice.
Which is abnormal for us. And like 2 inches of ice right beneath that, so it was impossible to drive anywhere, even before the snow started falling.
Well, I do want to point out that the reason they have to leave in winter is because of Frodo and his dumb choices, as Bilbo points out. It's partly your fault, Frodo, my lad, insisting on waiting for my birthday. A funny way of honoring it, I can't help thinking. Not the day I should have chosen for letting the SBs into Bag End, but there it is. You can't wait now till spring, and you can't go till the reports come back.
Yeah, well, maybe if Butterbur would have said something.
Yeah, Butterbur did drop the ball on that one.
Yeah, you jackass. But they need to be sure that the riders are indeed unhorsed and unmasked. And not an immediate concern, and they confirm 8 of the 9 are out of action for sure. So probably all of them are not going to be an immediate problem. We're not going to have to fight all the ring wraiths as we try to cross through open country, which is great because we got a lot of other issues that we're going to have to deal with in the immediate vicinity.
There's a line in there because we were talking a little bit about the nature of the ring wraiths, and I noted this one down. Merry mentions that he thought the ring wraiths were destroyed in the flood, not just washed away. And Gandalf says, you cannot destroy ring wraiths like that. The power of their master is in them, and they stand or fall by him. That's...
What, do you think that these are the aliens from Signs, you idiot?
You think they could just be destroyed by crushing water? I think Mary could be destroyed by crushing water, but no, I thought that was interesting because you don't hear, or at least I haven't heard a lot of Tolkien talking about what it would mean. Like you hear him talk, like the ring unnaturally extends their life. It's like butter being spread over too much bread, that kind of thing. But you don't hear a lot about the like Sauron's power is in them. Is Sauron somehow putting forth some of his spiritual energy to sustain that strange unlife?
He has sex with all of them.
Well, maybe.
I kind of figured he was putting some sort of his spirit. I figured he probably put a little bit of his spirit in those rings, like just a touch of the old Sauron juice.
I think he probably did, and I think there's something of his spirit just in the art of ring making itself.
Or it sounds like the rings of men obviously cursed, and the rings of dwarves also sounded like they were cursed.
Yeah, I think you're correct about that. So that's just an interesting little detail about the nature of the ring wraiths that I don't think I noted on my first couple of reads.
So yeah, as we mentioned, Gandalf is like, I think I'll end up going. And Frodo's like, oh shit, really? That would be awesome. Oh my god, please do that. And Gandalf's like, well, hold on. I didn't say I would. Like, I just said probably. I'm going to go talk with Elrond.
It's
Okay,
gonna
bye.
it's gonna be super easy if Gandalf's there the whole time. I don't even think this is Bilbo. I don't even know if that's gonna be a book worth writing. It's gonna be so easy.
Yeah. Thank God for Gandalf, right?
Thank God. Thank God,
So,
no.
so Rivendell has healed the troubled minds, at least temporarily. So that's nice. And then they mentioned there's a burning red star in the sky that's getting more and more pronounced as the days go on. And I have to wonder if Garlic Jr. is back, Ben.
Oh, I was wondering if Khaleesi's dragons are almost ready. George R. R. Martin totally ripped that off.
From Garlic Jr.?
No, from
Oh.
Tolkien. Garlic. I gotta feel like the Red Comet is something in a ton of stuff. That's the thing in like Avatar: The Last Airbender too.
Yeah, but that
How
was
many-
Sozin's comment, you know?
Oh, it was Sozin's. It's a different comet.
Yeah, I mean, at least I know what that is. I don't know what this thing is. Other than perhaps the Macchio star.
It's so weird that's where you're going with this.
That's the first thing I thought of.
That's such an obscure reference.
It's the worst saga from Dragon Ball Z.
That's because it's filler.
It's filler. It's filler that's based off of a movie that wasn't canon. So it's like double filler.
Yeah, isn't that the one where everybody turns into like vampires?
Yes.
This Friday at 4, Toonami belongs to a pint-sized madman. His deadly designs for Earth will turn friend against friend, mother against son.
So, Macchio Star's out there. Scouts come back. They can't find Radagast. And Ben, where does Radagast go? What's he doing?
He's never seen again.
Okay, all right.
Radagast is just
he's
fucking gone.
Dead?
I don't think
He
he's
just
dead.
fucks off to the east. I'm out of here.
I don't think Radagast can die. He's a Maya, right?
I mean, his form can be destroyed, though, right?
Yeah, but his spirit would just probably go back west.
We could really use a second wizard, though. You know, even though this one's kind of a loser, you know, it would help to have another wizard. You know, like if we needed to make a big heroic sacrifice, we could have Radagast, and then
Yeah,
we could keep our
Radagast.
Gandalf. You know,
It would also help if we were being chased by animals because he's got a connection.
yeah, that would actually come in really, really handy.
Unfortunately, he left for parts unknown and he's never seen again. I honestly don't know. I think there's a chance, like Tolkien does in his letters speculate on what the other wizards did. And I think basically this is just his way of like, Radagast isn't coming back.
Yeah, it would be too easy if we had two wizards. I'm
I do-
already giving you Gandalf.
Yeah, I don't think he was interested in telling a story about wizards.
Well, guess
So-
what? We need to have Radagast's Big Adventure on Netflix in 2026. It explains where Radagast went during the War of the Ring. He has his own little adventures, and maybe, I don't know, maybe he hunts Gollum as well, you know?
I think the challenge. So Radagast, Tolkien in his letters, he does mention that Radagast kind of failed too, not quite in the extremity that like Saruman and the Blue Wizards probably failed. But Radagast too sort of lost sight of the mission. He became so Radagast is we talked about how the Maya are serving of Valar.
Yeah.
And
Radagast serves the Valar most associated with being a chill bro and smoking some dope and hanging out, you know, and just
Kind
being
of.
cool.
He's he serves Yavanna, who is the wife of Aule the Smith. Yavanna is the one who created all the plant life in Middle Earth, and
So he was doing his job. by
Yeah.
sampling the plants.
Yeah, she also created I think she created the Ents.
We don't talk about them, right?
She created
Aren't
the
they like
Ents.
the eagles, and that we're not sure if they have souls?
We're not sure if they have souls.
Okay.
I think Galadriel even comments on that in the appendix. She says something like maybe we'll see each other again after the remaking of the world or something, but she doesn't know. And
maybe we will. I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Not sure about you.
Actually,
but...
the elves don't know.
Ooh, they don't know if they're going to be there.
They don't know if they're going to be there.
It might be men all the way down.
They
Nothing
believe
but men.
they will be. They believe they will be. But
that's a nice belief to have, I guess.
So yeah, Radagast serves Yavanna, and his failure is that because he was so into nature, he sort of became way too enamored with the plants and animals of Middle Earth, and he became like laser focused on them and forgot sort of what he was there to do.
Look, he has ADHD. He's treating that with pipeweed and maybe some other herbs, you know. It's kind of on you for not giving him like a straightforward to-do list, you know? I need to stop saying it's your fault though, is what I'm saying.
He does.
You need
to
be
help.
like, okay, step 1, you need to do this. Step 2, you need like a checklist.
When they do that, he does it.
Exactly.
When Gandalf gives him a checklist,
because he's got the ADHD.
Yeah.
And reefer madness.
Yeah. And he might have discovered the coca leaf. But yeah, I think Radagast, he's probably out there probably trying to like save the animals. He might, you know, I could see him wandering out to like Fangorn Forest or something. But I don't think he's coming back.
And then also Elrond's sons went somewhere, and they don't speak of where they went to anyone except for Elrond, and it sounds like it's a big deal, but I don't know where they went. Frodo doesn't know, so he doesn't write that in his book. Do you know, Ben?
Yes, it is foreshadowing. They went so if you're I think this is something you could only notice on a second read, because I don't know if you have enough information to sort of put together where they went, but everybody else went out scouting. They did not go scouting. They went down, I believe they says the Silver Lode. And that would put them, let me double check. I believe I'm correct. It's like right on the page crease.
Isn't it like right near Moria or something? If it's the Silver Lode?
Yeah. Lorien is where they went. Lothlorien.
Okay.
They went to tell Galadriel the plan because, unlike the movies, Galadriel and Elrond do not share a telepathic connection. That only comes up once when they're doing something that's not in the book, and then never again. They just never do that again. But yeah, Galadriel, when they get to Lothlorien, you'll notice that Galadriel was expecting them. She was expecting them.
Yeah, I remember they asked for Gandalf.
Yeah.
And then they're like, ooh!
Yeah, and it's like he says 9, and Celeborn even says in the movie, I'm thinking of the movie now, but Celeborn says 9 there were set out from Rivendell. Where's Gandalf? It's not an exact
And no
quote.
one goes, how do you know that?
Yeah, because again, they're just like, Killhauer jumped in the Discord when I asked, how is it watching the movies? Like, what do you think Arwen is when she shows up in a white dress? And he's like, I don't know, elf bullshit. And I was like, yeah, I think that's what most people are just thinking. They're like, oh yeah, she's magic. She knows it. But no, in the book, Elros or not Elros. I'm sorry. That would be insane.
Elros? Isn't that his brother?
That's Elrond's brother.
Yeah, that'd be incredible if he were there.
What is his name? Eladon and Elrohir. They're twins, actually. they go and they tell Galadriel.
Oh, does he only have 2 sons?
He has 2 sons and a daughter.
Huh, I thought he had 3 sons and a daughter.
Only the twins
Who is the guy? God, I keep the guy. He died fighting a Balrog.
Glorfindel.
Glorfindel.
That is not.
That is not his son. Okay.
I believe he's much older than Elrond, actually.
Well, he died and he came back, so I guess
Resets.
Younger now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now I am the old man. You're my son. That's how that works. My daughter told me that because she's small and I'm big, I carry her, and then when she's big and I'm small, she's going to carry me. So that's how that works.
That's beautiful, but not how elves work.
All right, and now for anyone who keeps sharing stupid memes, it straight up says that this quest is about speed and secrecy now. That's why they're not bringing Glorfindel. That's why they're not flying eagles directly into an army. Speed and secrecy. So,
I also did want to correct something. They do mention that autumn and winter happen in Rivendell, that the trees do lose their leaves. So the seasons do change. It's not just eternal summer.
But I assume that it's probably like one of those like San Diego winters where it dips down to like 60.
I think it's just like the perfect version of everything. Like it's the perfect autumn. It's the perfect winter.
Yeah, I imagine this place its temperature ranges from like 55 to 85 degrees all year round. And so there's always like a light breeze, but there's like a nice warm sun, so it's like it's like I'm cool and also warm enough where the breeze isn't cold. Is like perfect.
Yeah. So
Elrond 2028. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Gandalf, he's gonna go because this is the whole reason he was sent to begin with, like to Middle Earth. So like he wants to just finish his job, clock out, and fuck off home already.
Yeah, me too, buddy. Boy, if you told me there was just one final death march and then I'm out of this world for good, let's do it.
And then the other free peoples will join you, is what Elrond says.
Representatives.
Gimli's going to represent the dwarves. Aragorn's going to represent the men. And Tony Hawk is going to represent the elves. He's going to throw that shield down, grind down the rail, and fire 3 arrows into those orcs.
Yep, Frodo's very happy. Now, I want to point out, I'm going to read some stuff from the book because I guarantee the movie has replaced this in a lot of people's mind.
Yes,
you may remember.
I think I know what you're.
Yeah, you may remember from the movie, if by my life or by my death, I can aid you in your quest. You have my sword. You have my bow. You have and my axe. I would have begged you to come, said Frodo. Only I thought you were going to Minas Tirith with Boromir because you guys hang out now.
Yep.
I am, said Aragorn.
Yeah.
And the sword that was broken shall be reforged ere I set out to war. But your road and our road lie together for many hundreds of miles. Therefore, Boromir and I will also be in the company. He is a valiant man. So I'm going to go with you part of the way, Frodo, but then I'm going to leave you. And
I wrote that down too.
I will probably not die for you.
Yeah, Gimli and Legolas will get you past the mountains and maybe a little further, but not sure what their plan is afterwards. And then Aragorn and Boromir, they're going to go all the way up to Minas Tirith and then, like, okay, bye. So, yeah, they even say, I think Boromir is like, shouldn't we swear like an oath? And I think either Elrond or Gandalf is like, no, let's not do that. You don't know what you're getting into.
Let me read you this part because this is actually important. It's an important difference between the book and the movie. So, At that moment, Elrond came out with Gandalf and he called the company to him. "This is my last word," he said in a low voice. "The ring bearer is setting out on the quest of Mount Doom. On him alone is any charge laid, neither to cast away the ring, nor to deliver it to any servant of the enemy, nor indeed to let any handle it save the members of the company and the council, and only then in the gravest need. The others go with him as free companions to help him on his way. You may tarry or come back or turn aside into other paths as chance allows. The further you go, the less easy it will be to withdraw. Yet no oath or bond is laid on you to go further than you will, for you do not yet know the strength of your hearts, and you cannot foresee what each may meet upon the road." And then it is Gimli
Yes, I just saw that in my notes. It's Gimli, not Boromir.
who says, "Faithless is he that says farewell when the road darkens." "Maybe," said Elrond, "but let him not vow to walk in the dark who has not seen the nightfall." Gimli still disagrees. "Yet sworn word may strengthen quaking heart." "Or break it," Elrond said. "Look not too far ahead, but go now with good hearts. Farewell, and may the blessing of the elves, men, and free folk go with you all." So Elrond is attempting to show a little bit of wisdom here. And I think, again, this is one of those passages that Tolkien really wanted you to have knowledge of the Silmarillion to appreciate.
Yep, he'll bring up Beren and Luthien again.
Yeah. I think you have to it hits harder if you know just how fucked up everything got because of the oath of Feanor's sons.
Ah.
Oaths have basically destroyed the world. They're they're the whole reason the elves are like miserable. It's arguably what led to Sauron in the first place. It's swearing an oath you can't keep is really dumb, and it's going to lead to problems. And so Elrond is being very clear. Only one guy here has any kind of oath on him, and that's Frodo. He's not allowed to throw the ring away, like throw it into the woods, and he's not allowed to give it to the enemy. Other than that, just go there and see if you can do it. We're not doing a Feanor again. Let's not stand here in Rivendell and swear oaths that we're going to kill this archangel, okay? We probably can't.
It's not going to work out well
Yeah.
if we do that. So there are 2 spots open because there's going to be 9 members, and they're like, maybe someone cool like Glorfindel or something should go with you. And then Merry and Pippin are like, no, it should be us. We want to go. And Gandalf is like, yeah, I guess they can go. And Elrond's like, okay. I mean, I was gonna send them elsewhere to bolster the Shire for what's to come. That Merry fellow's all right, but like Pippin, like,
I love that. You're not joking. He specifically is like, okay, I was going to send them back to warn the Shire so that they could mount whatever defense hobbits mount against what they're probably going to get invaded. And then this is important because unlike in the movie, the Shire is invaded and they were not well defended. It is possible that there's a consequence to this choice here. And but even then, Elrond's like, I was going to send them back, and I guess they could go if you really want them to, but I think at least that younger one, Peregrine Took, should remain. My heart is against his going.
Yeah. And Gandalf is like, you know what? Let's not rely on wisdom and logic for this one. Let's believe in the power of friendship like this is Yu-Gi-Oh! And Elrond's like, okay, look, you're the one who's going to have to deal with him, all right? Like, if you want to take him, I'm not going to say you can't. You can take both of them if you want. All right, they can be your final 2 members. Just remember when he just starts constantly fucking up left, right, and center that like
You chose
you
this.
chose this. You were the one who picked him. All right.
Well, Master Elrond, you'll have to lock me in prison or send me home tied in a sack. For otherwise I shall follow the company, said Pippin. Let it be so then. You shall go, Elrond said.
Let it be so. You shall go to the Shire. Guards?
A sack, you say? Yes. Reasonable. Tie him up, boys.
So,
oh man, there's one note I have. So after they choose who's going to go, that's when they're still waiting for the scouts to come back. That's when there's a little bit of downtime. There's another reference to the Lost Tales where they sit around in the Hall of Fire, hear of Beren and Luthien
yep.
winning the Great Jewel. But there's another perhaps self-deprecating thing, because at this point Bilbo is basically Tolkien's self-insert, because he's just the guy who sits around making up poems that nobody wants and
that Frank Herbert later copied. Yeah.
So Frodo and Sam were to be found with Bilbo in his own small room. Then Bilbo would read passages from his book, which still seemed very incomplete.
Have you not finished this yet, my dude?
I think that's you've been working on this book for 50 years, Bilbo. What are you doing? I mean, he's still going to beat George R.R. Martin. But yeah, I think that was Tolkien maybe taking a shot at himself there. He's, because to be fair, he didn't publish the Silmarillion in his lifetime, so he was still working on that book.
Yeah, I wrote that Bilbo isn't a jump scare monster, and he hangs out with Frodo, and he gives Frodo Sting, which glows when goblins, which are no longer called goblins, and orcs are nearby. And he also gives him Mithril. He's like, hide this under your normal clothes.
He doesn't say that. Frodo's like, I'm going to look weird.
Well, yeah. But he does tell him, like, keep that on the down low. Don't tell people.
He's like, if I wear this, I'm going to look like a middle-aged child in a Halloween costume. And Bilbo's like, just put it under your shirt.
Aragorn has his sword reforged.
And he renames it. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did.
It is now Anduril, Flame of the West.
What was it before?
Narsil.
Ah. Yeah, Anduril sounds cooler. Anyway.
Sword names are important. We eventually will cover some Norse sagas on this. On Words About Books. And you're going to want to remember those sword names.
So, they're going to finally set out. They're counseled to travel by night to avoid the many eyes of Sauron's other servants. And Boromir blasts his horn. That's his thing. And Elrond's like, you might want to not do that in the future. That thing is loud as all hell, and everyone's going to hear you.
Boromir is setting out on an adventure. Boromir blows his horn. Third wave ska.
And it's coming, Ben. It's coming. So I wrote, the first leg of the journey sucks. It's creeping along the mountains, freezing their asses off, sleeping uncomfortably during the day, eating cold, cheerless meals because they can't light fires, and slowly making their way towards awful, shitty mountains that they're going to have to cross.
Yeah, that's why you don't start the Appalachian Trail in December.
Even I know that.
Yeah, but they're going, and they're going on like the worst possible path too.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to avoid being seen. They're going through like dense tree cover. But then they come to a very happy place, the borders of the country that men call Holen.
Or Eregion.
Many elves lived here in happier days when Eregion was its name.
I just wrote down, this is a Ben thing.
You know what Eregion is.
I know, you told me about this before.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've talked about this many times on this podcast. Eregion is where Celebrimbor lived. It's where the rings were made. And then when Sauron's plan to mind control everybody didn't work. He was like, okay, plan B, kill everybody. And then he did that.
He did a good job at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the sun isn't even out for like 2 weeks. And then Pippin thinks they accidentally turned east, and Gandalf is like, no, the mountain range bends south. Did you not look at any of the maps in Rivendell? You were there for like 2 months. And he's like, well, I did look at them, but, I kind of figured like other people would like have that hammered down, and I didn't need to do anything.
Hey, Pippin, you see that bright ball in the sky? That's the sun. Where does it rise? Over there. In the east.
South? Yeah, Gimli names Baraz, Zirak, Shithor, the dwarven names beneath which Moria sits.
Baraz, Zirak, Shatur.
Yeah.
And he comes up with Legolas. So they're just hanging out. Him and Legolas are just hanging out. There's no like, I'll die before I see the ring in the hands of an elf.
They didn't have their arc where they hate each other, but then they gradually become friends.
I mean, they don't necessarily like each other, but it would be annoying to set out with somebody who is just like, I think you're subhuman and I don't trust you.
It was either in this chapter, or I think it was
Let's
the chapter
go camping for 7 months.
Where Gimli and Legolas both are like, well, I mean, your people kind of broke their vow to my people, and one of them was like, I've never heard such stories of you. like they're maybe the stories are not the same. Not told the same.
Yeah, it's kind of we're going to be living in extremely close proximity for the next year. What if we don't start off on that note?
Yeah.
What if we just try to tolerate each other for a little bit?
So their plan is to get to Dimroll Dale, where the mountains divide. It's like it's like a mountain pass, right? It's on the other side of the mountains. And they're going through the Red Horn Pass to get there.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind the Misty Mountains. They run north to south across Middle Earth, and so they have multiple peaks, and they're trying to go between 2 peaks,
2 of the best peaks, I'm sure, and get to Dimroll Dale on the other side, and then from there maybe the Great River. But let's not plan too far ahead, because like, what if we die before we even reach that river? What are the odds of that? High. Anyway.
Oh, there is one interesting lore note when they're in Eregion. Gandalf is like trying to like cheer everybody up, and he's like, "Hey, we're in a place where the elves lived, and yeah, they died to a man, but this is a country that was touched by the elves, and a lot of evil has to happen before." Yeah, and then Legolas says, "That's true, but the elves of this land were of a race strange to us of the Sylvan folk, and the trees and grass do not now remember them. Only I hear the stones lament them. Deep they delved us, fair they wrought us, high they builded us, but they are gone. They are gone." It's unclear to me if Legolas actually hears the stones. It's unclear to me if he's just being poetic or if he actually
maybe it's a parlor trick. He
does that. Where he just pretends to hear stones
to men and dwarves and other non-elves. Like, oh yes, I can hear the rivers. It's calling you. Did you hear that? It's calling you a little bitch. Oh my god. That's crazy. That's mean of the river to say that, but who am I to argue with a river,
Legolas does get kind of sassy in this chapter.
He does. Also, Mary calls him Strider as well.
Yeah, once you get a nickname, it's hard.
One thing that Aragorn Strider realizes is that nothing in the country seems to be making noise except for them. It's very odd and fills him with unease. And
when Gandalf the woods go silent, you might be attacked by a Bigfoot. We learned that earlier on Words About Books.
So everyone be quiet, and we need to set a watch. Bigfoot's coming.
Sauron could technically take any shape.
You fucking imagine. I thought he lost his ability to take shape.
He lost his ability to take a fair form.
Ah.
But could Sauron be the North American great ape? Or perhaps...
Are you saying that that's not a fair form? I'm offended.
Yeah. No, they do smell.
Hey, it didn't say anything about whether or not he could shower.
It's true. It's true. His men did get pressure washed.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so the woods go silent. It's not good.
And Sam and Aragorn, they take watch, and it is just deathly quiet. And then they see a black patch in the sky. It's birds, Ben. Birds are from Dunland and Fangorn. I know of one of those places. Fangorn is near Saruman.
This is, I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers this except me, but this is another, it's a random thing in the movie, because in the movie it's totally different. It's not at dawn. It's in the middle of the day. Boromir is wrestling with Merry and Pippin, and then all of a sudden Legolas shoots up and goes, "Crabine from Dunland, hide!" And you're like, was that English? And then everybody has to get down, and it's confusing. I don't know why. One, they gave that line to Legolas. I guess they're trying to establish his elf eyes see things our man eyes do not.
Yeah, because Aragorn is just a man.
Yeah, well, Aragorn's actually sitting on a rock, smoking a pipe, laughing at Boromir getting jumped in the movie. But in this one, he's sitting there with Sam. Also, we glanced, or we passed over some of it, but Aragorn is also like, he spent a lot of that 2 months downtime hanging out with Gandalf, planning this whole trip. And before they left, he was literally sitting there with like his head between his knees, trying not to throw up. Because there's a lot riding on this. Like, his whole life has been building to this moment. And
no pressure.
The narrator of the book says only Elrond really knew what it meant to him. His future marriage, his kingdom, his bloodline, everything that is important to him in this world depends. It all starts today. And so, yeah, he's a little nervous, and he's behaving like somebody who's maybe a little under the gun. And that's why he's keeping a lookout. He's watching everything. And also, this is his idea, this route.
Yes.
It's not Gandalf leading them. It's Aragorn leading them.
Gandalf had a different idea in mind, and Aragorn was like, I really don't want to go that way, so let's try this route instead first, and only try your way if there's no other option.
You know what they awoke in the minds. Yeah, this is totally twisted in the movie. I don't even know why.
Yeah.
I don't even know why it's they did this in the movie.
So are these Saruman spies or Sauron spies?
These are, I think we're to take it that they are Sauron spies.
Okay, that's what I thought too. Whereas in the movie, they are definitely Sarumans.
They are Saruman. Well, in the movie, I'll be honest, I don't think Saruman does anything for the rest of this book. So in the movie, they're like, well, we're paying Christopher Lee. He's going to be here. And then they edited him out of the Return of the King. But
yeah, that was shitty.
Yeah.
I would have been pissed off too.
He was. Yeah.
I know he was. Yeah. I know he was. Because it's like, wait a minute. That's the conclusion to my character. I get killed. Like, I just don't exist now. Like, we just move on.
Well, and first off, I think they already started off on shaky ground, because apparently when Tolkien was alive, Christopher Lee got Tolkien's permission to play Gandalf.
Ooh.
And so Christopher Lee wanted Gandalf.
And it's like, sorry, you
Sorry.
look more like a bad guy. You were the man
Yeah,
with the
you're a
golden
bad guy
gun.
in everything
Sorry.
you're in. So
Sorry.
yeah, Sean Bean's gonna have to play the guy that dies, and you're gonna have to play the bad guy. I'm sorry.
That's our hands are tied. All right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of history there, but yeah. So everything Saruman does, basically from here on out in the movie, none of it happened. Saruman's role in this book is over. We will see him again next book.
Yeah, I mean, his only role is it diverts them down a different path. So
yeah, Saruman's basically just there to illustrate failure. He's there to prove like what Gandalf could have become if he caved in.
they look upon, I think they look upon the Red Horn Pass or something, and Sam's like, wait a minute, you're saying that the Red Horn Pass and Mount Doom, two different things. It's like, yeah, Sam.
Everybody turns around and looks at Sam, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna be here a while, buddy.
It's only been like 2 weeks, and we're gonna have to keep doing this for like another
year,
30, 40, if we're lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, Sam, they even mentioned like he's not very good at reading maps. The distances get all wonky to him.
Or reading in general, I'm sure.
He's like, an inch can't be 100 miles. That just doesn't make sense. It's an inch. Why don't they just make maps the size they're supposed to be? I didn't think that would get you that much.
God damn it. So Aragorn and Gandalf, they're weighing their options because the weather already sucks, and Aragorn is on Team Redhorn because it's the best pass they can get, and Gandalf is not so sure because the weather already sucks, and they would be exposed to Sauron's spies or anything that he might send against them. But they both agree that the alternative is to go through the Gap of Rohan, and neither of them want to do that because it is so close to Saruman.
Nah, come on, man. There's another way. Come on, Aragorn. There's a secret way. Nobody would see you.
Gandalf talks about a secret pass, which is Moria.
I could take him.
And it's interesting because the movie Gandalf is like,
I would not risk
distraught.
That path. When
Frodo is the only one, first of all, who gets to pick. When in this, later on, they're like, all right, we'll put it to a vote. But yeah, Gandalf is like, he's Team Moria, and in the movie, Frodo's like, I'll go through the mines of Moria. And Gandalf just like, it zooms in on his face. He's just crushed and defeated. And he's like,
in the movie, it's also Gimli pushing for Moria. Yeah. And in the book, Gimli's like, I mean, we could try it. I think everybody's probably dead, but
yeah, he's not like, oh, we're going to get a warm reception from my
cousin Balin would give us a royal welcome.
And they called it a mine.
Malt beer, red meat, right off the bone. What animal?
Yeah, we're gonna get a warm reception. Now, we haven't heard from him
it's
in
gonna
a
be
few
warm.
decades.
It's gonna be warm. Like maybe like a blazing fiery whip.
They're going through the pass. Boromir's like, we should each take a bundle of wood. That's the word he uses, bundle. He doesn't use any other word to describe that. It was bundle.
In Britain, I think it just means cigarette.
Well, how does that make any sense in this context, though? I thought it meant cigarette as well, but now it's like we're going to take a wood. Like, we're going to take...
It's a thing you use to start a fire. It's a light.
Okay. Well, we're each going to take at least one of those in case we absolutely need to.
We're going to take wood. Yeah, we're going to take wood.
So They also mention an event called the Fell Winter of 1311 when white wolves invaded the Shire because the Brandywine froze over. Where's my Netflix series on that?
Don't. They will. They will. God damn. No, you're gonna get another fucking anime. Don't. You're gonna get
So
Wolf's Rain 2, The Shire.
so this is interesting because in the movie it is unambiguously Saruman who makes the weather suck.
Yeah.
But in this, Boromir thinks it's Sauron, but it's also implied maybe the mountain itself is not like sentient, but it doesn't want them up there. It hates dwarves most of all.
Oh yeah, no, they have it doesn't like anyone.
Yeah,
Karadras
but
or
least of all
Karad
dwarves.
Karadras.
Thras, right?
Dras.
Karathras.
Caradras.
Caradris.
You know, the thing is, Karadras just means red horn. So red horn, the mountain itself, it may be, I think Aragorn remarks that it has been here longer than Sauron, and it has been a dick the whole time.
Yeah.
I think this could be like up there with like a Goldberry kind of type entity where we don't really know what it is. It's some kind of like nature spirit type thing, and it controls its environment to a certain extent. And the mountain itself seems to be really trying to throw them off. And they do hint that there is something magical going on, but it could also just be a very specifically located weather event.
Yeah. It's that global warming. The polar vortex is
The
weaker.
polar vortex is, yeah.
So, and Boromir thinks like it could be Sauron. I think probably not, but it's not inconceivable because they talk about like he does have a very long arm.
Yeah, there's some interesting quotes here because I don't think there is an answer to this one. So let me see. Boromir says, "I wonder if this is a contrivance of the enemy. They say in my land that he can govern the storms in the mountains of shadow that stand upon the borders of Mordor. He has strange powers and many allies." And that's kind of true. Sauron he does send out like cloud cover to block the sun so his orcs can march. And Gimli replies to that with, "His arm has grown long indeed if he can draw snow down from the north to trouble us here 300 leagues away." To which Gandalf says, "His arm has grown long." Like, could be Sauron. But Aragorn seems like dead against it because
Because I can't believe that he could stretch his power out that far, because otherwise we're totally fucked.
So Boromir says we can go no further tonight. And he's right. He says, let those who want to call it the wind, call it the wind. There are fell voices on the air, and these stones that are falling are aimed at us.
Yeah, some boulders begin to fall.
And Aragorn says, I do call it the wind. But that does not make what you say untrue. There are many evil and unfriendly things in the world that have little love for those that go on two legs, and yet are not in league with Sauron, but have purposes of their own. It's Aragorn. I think that's what the kids call cope. Yeah, okay, definitely there is some sort of evil entity hurling boulders at us and drowning us in snow. It doesn't have to be Sauron. It could be a different evil guy that wants to kill us.
To be fair, I do think it is the mountain.
I think it's the mountain too. That's my personal theory. I think Caradras or Caradras Caradras. I'm going to say Caradras. Caradras is an entity, or it is a force of nature, and it does not want to block them. But this whole time, Gandalf's just like pointing down at the ground. He's like, the mines. I can take him.
So Gandalf gives them Mirivor, which like a health or stamina potion. It makes everyone warm and revitalizes their strength.
Mirivor, the cordial of Imladris. It's elf booze.
Hell yeah.
It's like elf brandy. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Don't you dare pour one out for your homies, though. That shit is too valuable to waste.
It is literally worth more than all of you.
So they try and get a fire going, and finally they're just like, okay, there's like 3 feet of snow. This fucking sucks. I think we're done here.
The fire I actually wanted to call out because they try to get the fire going and it will not get going. And they all just sort of turn to Gandalf and be like,
yeah,
great if we had a wizard here.
Yeah. We really need someone who knows fireball, you know? That would be fantastic.
And at last, reluctantly, Gandalf took he himself took a hand
level spell, but
yeah,
okay. Fine.
He picked up a piece of wood and he held it aloft for a moment, then uttered a word of command. Naur en Edrath. Amen. And he thrust his staff into the midst of it, and there was a great spout of green and blue flame. I looked it up. Naur en Edrath Amen means something like fire to save us.
Son of a bitch. Oh.
It means fire to save us, or something like fire of our salvation. So that's what he's saying. He didn't want to do that, though, because by using magic, he is basically signaling that, like, well, Gandalf's here. Because
yeah, everyone's going to be able to see us.
Yeah. Anyone who knows magic, so like Saruman, you know, whoever might be watching.
Radagast,
if he's out there. You know, just
that Radagast Netflix series.
It's gonna happen.
He's going to in the middle of episode 3, he's gonna stop and he's gonna stare out to the west. He's gonna see just flickering light, and that's how all the internet theorists are gonna be like, "Oh, does he see Gandalf on the mountain from the movie?"
They'll probably have an AI Christopher Lee chanting, and he'll hear it, and he'll be like, "Oh no!" And then
I hope it looks as good as Grand Moff Tarkin. I want basically a reanimated corpse, just an uncanny valley.
Why not? We already reanimated Van Helsing. Let's reanimate Dracula. Why not? Let's just remake the whole movie.
Yeah.
Let's make a sequel.
Do it.
Yeah. But
can we get Carrie Fisher in there somehow?
Oh, Jesus. Can we get Jesus in there? But yeah, interesting. The only reason I wanted to call this out is because it is actually somewhat rare for Gandalf to like overtly cast a spell. And it probably not since the Pine Cones have we really seen this. And also, where does this magic come from? We talked about this a little bit in The Hobbit.
The ring?
Could it be because he has the fire ring, Narya,
and a lot of his magic seems to be fire related, or fire adjacent.
Yeah, he blows intricate smoke rings. He
flashbangs those goblins.
Yeah, Gandalf utilizes fire a lot. So could he be using the magic ring, rather than maybe some innate magical power? It's something to think about. I don't think there is a real answer there. But it's just worth noting.
It couldn't be his staff because that's just for throwing old men around.
I do think the staff is important, though perhaps not
Hey,
as
Christopher Lee says it's important. He tells him like, "Oh, perhaps you want all the stabs of the Grand Wizards or whatever." He doesn't say Grand Wizard. That's a different organization.
yeah, it's a different
Uh,
thing. That's a different kind of evil wizard.
yeah, but he's like, "Oh, perhaps you want all 5 stabs of the wizards." So there's got to be some importance to it, and that is one of the conditions Gandalf has on Saruman getting out. Give me your staff and go terrorize some hobbits.
But you remember in the movie when the Witch King, who Gandalf kicked his ass up and down pre-power up, breaks Gandalf's staff?
He kicked his ass pre-power up?
Well, in the books he did.
Yeah, well, that didn't happen in the movie. He never fought the 9 in the movie, so...
Well, so that's how they make it through the night, though. They wind up spending the night on the mountain.
And it
This-
sucks. And no one likes it except Legolas. Legolas is the only one... He's that really annoying guy. He... Like, when morning starts peeking through the fog, he's like, "Good morning, everyone! Who's up for some stretching before our jog through the snow?" And you're like, "God, fucking damn it."
So Boromir is like, okay, well, we got to get out of this. We got to go back down the mountain. I love snow. Boromir is so ready for this. This is the moment he's been waiting for his entire life.
Yeah, yeah.
He just goes in, both fists swinging.
Yeah, he digs
punching
his way
snow out
through.
of the way.
They're like, "Holy shit, this guy is gigantic. He is huge. He's jacked."
Aragorn's taller, but Boromir's bigger.
Yeah.
And
They
then
basically have to swim through the snow to cut a path back.
So there's a little interaction, a little shit talking between, believe it or not, Gandalf and Legolas. So Legolas says, if Gandalf would go before us with a bright flame, he might melt a path for you. As Legolas is just standing on top of the snow.
Yes, he can run on the snow as Jesus walks on water. He
There
leaves
is
no footprints.
There is an interesting thing. I've been watching Jackson Crawford's read through of Lord of the Rings, and one of the things that frustrates him is there is just no description of what an elf actually is. And it is funny because we get a description of like Aragorn's pretty tall. Boromir's almost as tall and very broad. Legolas is walking on snow. Is he tall? Is he broad? Is he heavy? Is he light? We don't know.
Well, Jackson Crawford, that's when you have to turn to talking about Tolkien and the Words About Books podcast. We're not going to shed any light on it, and you're better at it than we are and more credible. But did you make a joke about the bundle of wood? No, you did not.
No, did not. Perhaps to his credit. No, he did not. But yeah, so Legolas is like, Gandalf, why don't you go before us and just, burn it all out of the way? Like this is D&D. And he says, if you did that, we could just be out of here. And Gandalf's like, well, and if elves could fly over mountains, maybe they might fetch the sun to save us. But I must have something to work on. I cannot burn snow. That would be ridiculous. And then later, as Legolas is watching Boromir and Aragorn, just go apeshit on the snow, he says, yes, the strongest must seek a way, say you, but I say let plowmen plow. But choose an otter for swimming and for running light over grass and leaf or over snow, an elf. And with that he sprang forth nimbly. And then Frodo noticed for the first time, though he had long known it, that the elf had no boots, but wore only light shoes, as he always did. And his feet made little imprint in the snow. Farewell, he said to Gandalf, I go to find the sun. Then, swift as a runner over firm sand, he shot away, and quickly overtaking the toiling men, he just sassed him.
What a dick. Yeah, they find that the snow stops at a very specific spot. It's like it piles up and piles up and piles up, and then like once you get through this snow wall, you can just leave.
Yeah, but I think as they go to like look back to maybe consider like, well, should we try it again? Path just floods with boulders. And
That's their way of saying no.
yeah, Gimli actually has like a moment where he's kind of Gimli from the movie, and he's like, "Okay, we're leaving." Jesus.
Yeah, my bad. It's what I did when we were in the forest of moving trees. It's like, hey, you don't come near me, I won't start lighting fires. We'll just both
Nobody,
not get in each other's way, you
nobody
know?
knows what that is or what that's about because we did
It's
not record that.
I know we didn't record it, but it's a D&D, and it was similar to the forest from the beginning of this book with the moving trees.
No,
So,
it wasn't. It was very legally distinct.
yes, you're right. It was legally different. Whatever the fuck that forest was called, the old forest.
Yeah, this was just called the Woods,
That's true.
the elderly woods.
So Boromir seems like a chill bro, and he goes back and forth grabbing hobbits and getting them to safety. And they all, yeah, I did write down there. Yeah, Gimli tells the mountain they're leaving already, and then the snow stops. And that's the end of that chapter.
I think the birds come again, and Aragorn's like, "It's the birds again," and Gandalf's like, "I don't fucking care," and he flicks off the birds.
Yeah, we're done. We're done.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they see us. Yeah. You happy? You happy? Nah.
So yeah, it's important to note that this mountain defeated the entire Fellowship. So this mountain is the final boss. Sauron doesn't defeat the entire Fellowship. Sauron's forces only get 2 of them, really,
I
and
can
one of them comes
pronounce
back.
Sauron.
Yeah,
I can say Sauron's name all day. But Caradhras. Caradhras.
yeah.
Carathras. Thras. I can't say it all at once. I could say one, part of it and then the other part.
Yeah. So, just saying. Maybe it should be Lore of the Mountains.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a valid point. But yeah, this was a long chapter. Probably could have been 2 chapters. Has 2 distinct
Yes.
sort of
They're in Rivendell for the first,
Yeah.
third, and then they set out. Definitely feels like 2 chapters, but it's okay.
Yeah, I'd say this is where the movie super diverges. Characters are very different. They're in different places. I kind of wonder why the movie decided to make everything Gandalf's plan instead of Aragorn's plan. I guess
Because he's just a man.
well, I think it makes the loss of Gandalf hit harder if he's in charge of everything. It also makes Aragorn, it gives him more of a journey, I guess. It gives him more of an arc.
Yeah, because now he has to take the reins. And basically, a good chunk of this next chapter isn't even in the book. Or in the movie, I mean.
Yeah, I think you're really starting to notice the important differences. I think Legolas is already kind of funnier than Gimli. Gimli's kind of just like a very straightforward kind of guy,
He's the straight man.
and Legolas is like Ribbon Gandalf, and Boromir is obviously a much. I think he's a much younger character almost. He feels like the Boromir in the movies feels, like, I don't know, was Sean Bean in like his mid 30s, early 40s when he played that? I don't know.
I don't know. He always looks the same age to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was born old, and then he just stayed old.
He could be like 30 or 60. I have no idea. But I think, he has this maturity about him where he's already kind of jaded by the world and everything. Whereas this Boromir is like the young guy, the young knight on a quest almost. And Aragorn is, this older, wiser guy who Boromir doesn't quite understand, but like, he'll hang out with anybody as long as we're getting the job done. And he's just trying to contribute to the group and keep everybody together. He's got like this weird, like dumb jock, like dumb friendly jock energy.
Yeah. He's a chill dude, though. He's a
Yeah.
bro.
But Gandalf also has more of that like mischievous Odin thing going on. Where he's like, let's go through the mines. Yeah, it's super risky. I think I can do
no
it.
reward, you know?
I've been angling for this promotion.
He doesn't even know it's down there.
I think they know something's down there.
Yeah. But when he encounters it, he's like, I have no fucking clue what that thing was. Until Legolas is like, I recognize it. And Gandalf is like, well, I got this, guys. Let me just crack my neck. Let's do this.
Yeah, it's yeah, it is also interesting to think that like Legolas has been in Middle Earth longer than Gandalf.
Yeah.
They don't really emphasize that in the movie.
But because he doesn't look like he's old, so
that's kind of the thing with elves, except when they're played by Agent Smith.
Mr. Baggins, today's the day that you die.
I don't know. I think
My name is Frodo.
I think I understand the choices the movie makes. I obviously prefer the book. I think one of the biggest changes that sort of impacts the way stuff is perceived for like the rest of the trilogy that maybe deviates a little too much from what Tolkien's doing is Saruman. Like making him responsible for everything, making him do all, like they really change what magic is in this world.
I think for the better. I think that Gandalf, there needed to be a chapter in this book where he threw Saruman around and Saruman threw him around and they used their force powers.
Do you? I'm honestly curious. How do you feel? Because I always ran about the movies.
I thought that scene was ridiculous even back then, and I was like, well, I guess they had to do that. And then reading the book, it's like, no, Gandalf could have just surrendered because the fuck was he gonna do? He was in enemy territory.
Yeah. I don't know, but
what was his plan? He was gonna defeat Saruman and then like fight his way through a horde of orcs.
Everything in the book is meticulously planned to the very day.
Yeah, in the next chapter, we'll talk about how they come up with other plans other than let's go through Moria. But they dismiss those, and they have reasons to dismiss those.
I have read that Tolkien rewrote like whole parts of the book because he realized he got a date wrong. Like
how dare he?
He had a calendar of like how long this journey took. And so I think if you're, like me and you're a big stickler for everything like really making sense and like I don't know, I find that very rewarding. I do understand it might not make the best like cinema, but I also don't care. You can make Star Wars if you want to make the best cinema. Yeah. Well, hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back next week. We'll be back next week with A Journey in the Dark. I wonder what's going to happen. This one's going quick. We'll be done with book 2 pretty soon.
It's another long chapter, though. That could have been 2 chapters.
Yeah. I do remember there's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
But as I see how people get bored with this, especially this chapter, The Ring Goes South, I could see Like when they're hiking through the woods and they're describing the terrain and they're just going and going and going. It's like, yeah, we could cut some of this.
That's the part that I had trouble with in D&D. It's like, all right, you're now walking, and roll the dice. You're walking still, and hold on, let me roll again. Damn it. You're walking some more. There's the sun's out, I guess, and then it's cold. Let me roll this dice again. Damn it! All right, you continue to walk for 2 more hours before you make camp and no encounters happen.
I was trying to deal with the fact that you guys seemed really intent on not taking risks. You were doing everything you could to avoid the encounters, and I was giving you credit for that. You're like, I'm spotting all the things that are potentially moving in the woods, and I'm going to path around them. If you wanted to fight them, you should have ran in there.
Hey, I said trees. You don't come near me and fuck with me. I won't start some fires. All right.
And then they didn't.
Yeah. Hey, we had an understanding. Game recognizes game.
The point is, I captured the feeling of the book, which is what we're supposed to do. Don't worry, we'll be doing a different book next time. I think you're going to have fun with that one. But yeah. We'll be back next week. We'll do it all again. We'll walk some more. We'll get through these chapters.
Hey, there'll be some fights next time.
Yeah. Honestly, I think this is probably the most, like, the Ring Goes South and maybe some of the stuff at the beginning is probably the most boring it gets. I think the problem, the reason the Karadros adventure is a little boring is because, like you said, nothing really happens. They go up a mountain, it snows a lot, they go back down a mountain.
Yeah.
But you got to really look for the lore there. And maybe that's why he combined it with the stuff in Rivendell, just to have a little.
I think it was also because we spent the last chapter like 50 pages in Rivendell, and he was like, okay, there's just this tiny bit where they're still in Rivendell. Let's just put that with this, and like, let's go. Let's get moving already.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it picks up. I'm not bored, but I do think like you're more likely to not be bored if you're looking for all the little details and like noticing all the stuff. Like, oh shit, that's a Region. Like, oh god, that's where Celebrimbor got his ass kicked. And it's like, oh, who the fuck's Celebrimbor? I don't care, but I care. I care now. I didn't care when I was reading this in 6th grade. But I care now. Later. I never know how to end. I never know how to end talking about Tolkien. End of talking about Tolkien.
The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road is gone, and I must follow it, if I can, pursuing it with eager feet until it joins some larger way, where many paths and errands meet. And whither then, I cannot say.
And then the finale is Gohan firing energy at the star, and it blows up the star.
To be fair, Piccolo's blown up the moon a couple of times. Well, no, Piccolo blew it up once. Roshi blew it up the first time. And it's unclear if Toriyama just forgot Roshi blew up the moon.
They do blow up the moon on more than one occasion. It is a little strange. But no one watched Dragon Ball, so when Piccolo did it, it was the first time in America. So.
Okay. Yeah, it was the first time in America. Okay.